Good afternoon, everyone. Great job bearing with us on the weather and making it out here. Pat yourselves on the back. We're about to have a great conversation with my fantastic panel up here, and it's all around interactive sport, how new platforms are leveling up the fan experience. So let's dive into it. Jen, I want to start with you. Jen is the Chief Commercial Officer at the Los Angeles Rams. And I want to start with you. Oh, yeah, give it up.
Go
give
Rams.
it up for the Rams. Now, Jen, I want to start with you because I want to start with the voice of the customer. I want to talk about the fan. When we talk about leveling up the fan experience in live sports, so let's start with the obvious. What actually needs leveling up?
Listen, live sports is everything. The passion, the fandom, when you walk into any venue to watch any live sporting event, it is like no other. And when you bring that energy and passion and you think about consumer expectations for, in our example, football first, you also think about Los Angeles as a market for us. So our building, we have the great pleasure and benefit of playing in SoFi Stadium, which is a state-of-the-art facility. Who here has been to SoFi Stadium? Awesome. We need to get the rest of you there. But what you experience when you think about that fan experience from season to season is the Angelinos walk in and they are expecting this convergence of not just football and sport, but culture and technology and innovation and music and Hollywood. And so when we think about leveling up, it's really about bringing this technology forward experience, layering each season with expectations of new platforms, new technologies. So when we, a few seasons ago, work with the Snap camera kit, and if we are in a moment, a football moment, and have crying face because we just scored, and then you show fans from the other team, the opposing team, with crying face. Or if you have brand integration like Avatar, where you, during that 2-minute TV break, have the trailer running for Avatar, and then later when you show fans in stands and you show the Avatar face on fans and people freak out. It's really that push and that pull of what technology, innovation, AR specifically, can bring to our many fan personas. And so you have that hardcore football fan, and they're football first, right? As Coach says, let's make the main thing the main thing. But then you have the power of entertainment, a full sensory experience. And we just tap into all of the tools and platforms, such as around a few seasons ago with the largest snowball fight ever. On Christmas Day, it was 80 degrees. It was the first Christmas Day NFL game ever. And we had this snowball fight. And it's not only on the infinity screen, which is massive and really takes over when you have content on that screen, but also getting people on their phones to interact for that deeper experience and engagement. That's what leveling up means to the Rams.
You talked a little bit about that push and pull, and I'm curious if there's any specifics you can share more with the group around what you're hearing from the Los Angeles Rams fans specifically, and what they're looking for going forward.
Yeah, so the expectations are high, right? We're in a state-of-the-art building. We continue to layer what's possible. It's really fun to think about the creative opportunities from season to season and how we can layer stats on top of football moments. How we can use around technology 2 seasons ago, and then we have a lot coming. Josh will tell you more. In terms of how do we bring some of these co-branded moments with brands to that big screen where it's not just content, it's AR, but it's also interactive in terms of holding your phone up. And getting different fan personas to do different things. So for the hardcores, they're focused on football. For our future fan and that younger demo, they're used to being in this multitasking world of watching football. But when there's a timeout, if there's a TV break, why not entertain with all different technologies and content and experience and AR to surprise and delight fans, because there is that expectation. So for those who we push content at or innovation at, fine, they take it in. when there's that pull opportunity of actually lifting up your phone and doing something with it, or wearing glasses and doing something with it, naturally, authentically, it's consumer behavior and convergence, and we need the technology to keep up with that. And that's what we're thinking about as we continue to bring new technologies forward into the fan experience.
Absolutely. Like you said, in football and baseball especially, there is a fair amount of downtime in between plays. And so, how do we think about turning that downtime into uptime and really engaging fans in the experience? And I think, Shachar and Josh, that's what you've been thinking about a lot as you've been building out these platforms to level up the fan experience. So I want to switch more kind of to the platform side of the house. And Shachar, I really want to start with you. You lead global marketing at Meta for Reality Labs, which brings together researchers, developers, engineers, and you're focused on building the future of connection within mixed reality. You've been at this for a few years now. Can you talk a bit about how the work has evolved and how Meta is building the future of connection across sports?
So the glasses that I'm wearing right now are Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, partnership with Ferrari that we launched just last month at F1 in Miami. And when I was there, it allowed me to experience the entire race hands-free. I didn't have to have my phone as a barrier between me and the drivers, the race, the qualifying lap. I got to do a hot lap, which was incredible. And the entire time, I'm able to be more present. I can take photos, I can take videos, I can also ask any questions. So as a fan, you can also ask Meta questions about the drivers, how fast that was going, things that you can't do without, looking at your phone or a computer. So now you can, completely hands-free. We also have Meta Quest, which you guys should all demo out here in Sport Beach. We've got a number of experiences from NFL Pro Era, where you can play immersive VR football, to our partnership with the NBA and X Stadium, where we have 52 games every single year where you can sit courtside on your own couch. So courtside to couch side. And about engaging fans of sports, there is a lot of downtime. So how do we bring that fan experience and the fandom of people's love and passion for the players, the team, the league, and give them an opportunity to engage in the comfort of their own home, while also having fun and getting a workout? So I know you did a demo earlier and you were sweating. And that's the point. It's meant to be fun, and it's meant to be immersive. And we've got everything from AI to AR, VR, and MR.
I know we have some footage from some of the F1 work
Yeah.
that you've done. I'm wondering if we can tee that up and you can talk
Yeah.
us through a little bit. It's almost as if we're wearing the glasses you have. I want the audience to have a little bit more of that experience.
So cue footage.
Cue footage, and
see
we'll
if it
walk
works.
through a little bit of what that experience is like and try to see
Yeah.
the world through the glasses that you're wearing.
Let's see if it's, oh, here we go. So this is, we built an incredible track that's in the shape of these glasses. Wayfair, we had people experiencing what it's like to actually drive hands-free, which you shouldn't, take content while you're driving on the highway, but in a closed environment was safe. And we had Tom Brady up there driving and racing his three best friends. And it also got people to have fun before the actual race started later that evening. So in addition to that, we have additional footage here of athletes. There's Tom Brady driving the track, and he didn't win. He was pretty bummed. His best friend won. And we also have, people throwing footballs to each other, capturing that moment. I was just talking to Carmelo Anthony, and he was playing catch with one of his friends, hands-free, capturing content on his Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses. So it's an opportunity for people to be physical, do what they love in sport, and not have their phone interfere with that experience. It's just a game changer.
Mm-hmm. I think we have one more kind of capturing some of that footage.
Yeah, so skateboarding is another great, obviously, sport that requires you to be hands-free. This is actually at Meta Beach, so if you have a chance, go down there. We have, as Devlin did an incredible exhibit. So lots of mirrors, lots of great Instagrammable content.
Yeah, letting folks stay in the moment and capture it while experiencing the game as it's going on. All right, Josh, I want to go down to you. Josh, you are the founder and CEO of Around, which is a shared augmented reality platform delivering the future of in-game sports entertainment for teams like the LA Rams, and we'll get to that in a little bit, the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers, and the MLB's Minnesota Twins. In a few words, can you share what Around is and how you're uniquely leveling up the fan experience?
Yeah, of course. So Jen was mentioning that fans come to the stadium to feel closer to the action. So imagine turning fans in stadium or even at home from spectators to actual participants. This is actually the new reality of fan engagement with Around, where we can localize fans with just their smartphone and then bring them into a shared experience where they can interact with other fans as well as the game itself. So imagine new forms of gamification, socialization, data visualization, and massive marketing moments that really bring fans into it where they can actually take ownership within the content and within the action.
And Josh, you just launched in the MLB's Ballpark app. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that means for baseball fans?
Yeah, so as we know, technology is great, but making it accessible is key. And so for this, recently, we brought Around to the web, meaning that you no longer have to download an app. We can integrate everywhere, including the Ballpark app. So for teams, we can really bring this service to them and scale in ways that allow them to integrate with current marketers as well as bring on new marketers with new opportunities. And so it's really talking about how we can really change entertainment, move it from one way to a two-way type of experience where fans can really be a part of it as much as they want and express themselves in tangible manners and start to be rewarded from that.
So let's lean into that two-way type experience more. You know, I want to lean into the partnership that you have coming up with the LA Rams. Once again, Around is the official AR partner for the Rams this season. Jen and Josh, can you talk to us a little bit about that partnership and both what it means for the fans, what it means for the team, and what it means for the brands that you work with?
Want me to start?
Yeah, I'd love to. Okay.
Thanks, Josh.
Well, I mean, everybody go to the SoFi Stadium. I mean, it is really one of the most remarkable spaces on this planet. And so to activate that and to really turn the stadium into a stage and the audience into actors for this new type of experience is really showing that the event becomes something that you can contribute to. And for marketers, it really allows them to take their brand, make it larger than life, and then start to lead them through a journey where they can start to engage, interact, and be rewarded and hopefully converted throughout this process in ways that helps teams like the Rams show that the value here is not just passive, but highly active and interactive.
Yeah, so we have brands who have really leaned in and they want us to think of what is possible in the building, like I mentioned. So when we worked a few seasons ago with Around, right, like Josh mentioned, you did need to download an app, but when you were able to have a snowball fight on the big screen on a Christmas Day game, and you have brands like Nickelodeon and others a part of the experience, not just from a broadcast perspective, but also from a slime perspective. What's capable on the infinity screen alone, and once again, that's us putting content up and pushing at you, is one thing. But then when you could actually go onto an app and do something, that was another. That was awesome. But it did have the expectation of someone having their phone in their hand and downloading a specific app. Then last year, we worked with Princess Cruises. We did this whole AR experience where when you saw this 1 minute piece of creative, it looked like the ocean essentially went into SoFi Stadium. You then got to see players like Aaron Donald surfing. It was this whole mixed reality experience, and where you were sitting in that purview of then seeing SoFi filled with an ocean, Princess Cruise comes in as that LA hometown cruise line and partner. It really just brought to life their brand, right? Then they're doing sweeps to give away to cruises and have these surprise and delight moments with fans. Then thinking about this next year, taking Around, taking Princess, and then also other brands and partners like Disney. We have a few surprises coming. I don't want to tell too much, and you need to get there. But with the enhancement of the Around technology, now you don't need that other app. Now you can experience it once again. If you are an audience that wants something pushed at you, it's coming at you on that screen. But then in the mobile web experience, you're then going to be able to interact. And so we're really excited about that frictionless opportunity, really building upon the few seasons since the building's open, really, of enhancing AR and mixed reality and what's possible. We'll continue to, of course, then use snap lenses and other AR features and functionality where brands can also come to life in this way. So in the Nickelodeon example, you had fans in stands and they had slime all over them. We then used the full body snap lens with Rampage, so fans are starting to look like our mascot. And then getting into this new Around experience, TBD, teasing it, come to a game. We have a great lineup. We're excited to see this next iteration of what AR looks like, getting to the fans who want to interact, who want to engage, and then having that expectation of, all right, we're fans, what's next? And so we're excited about what's coming.
Well, let's put some visuals to some of these words. I'd love to tee up the video, a teaser video of some of the past work that the LA Rams and Around have worked on together. So can we play the video? Oop. Let's pause that one.
Guy.
There we go.
It's so cool.
So I think that video does a good job of bringing to life what we've been talking about up here. You're actually seeing the stadium there. You're actually seeing fans in the stadium. And then we're bringing in AR to enhance that experience. And as I rewatched this video a couple of days ago, and I was listening to Tim Ellis, the CMO of the NFL, talk about their helmets off strategy, how they really bring players to life, making sure fans see them, understand who they are, their personalities. It just made me think this is such a strong demonstration of that. And I'm wondering if you two can talk a little bit more about how you're going to continue to evolve that helmets off strategy here and really lean into the team and the players. Of course, we'll talk about brands a bit more, but really, who is that on the field with the team, and how does the fan get to know them a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, helmet on, football players at times are not even recognizable, right? They have skills, they have strength, they have power, but not everyone knows what they're all about as humans. So humanizing our players is everything, and with that comes storytelling and creative. And we can do it on our own, and we can do it with partners. We're always doing custom content storytelling. I would say that Ram Studios does an exceptional job of not only creating documentaries like Locked In about Matthew Stafford and his family and that road to Detroit and what that looked like for him, but also getting to Behind the Grind and showing the behind the scenes of draft and the inner workings of football, but then telling a story with Sleep Number about Jordan Fuller, or Gatorade with Robert Woods a few years ago. So it's all about storytelling and humanizing these players. So the more that we can bring attention to that future fan of who these guys are. Andrew Whitworth has been with us all week, and now that he is on Amazon Thursday Night Football, seen every Thursday, 12 million people watching on a weekly basis, he's this recognizable guy and lovable and incredible and awesome in the community and a great human. And so if we can do more of that and humanizing these players and getting really creative with the art of storytelling, bringing brands into the fold. We can do it on our own. We can do it with brands. But I think the power of what's going to come with Around in this next generation of platform and technology this next season is really powerful. And we're excited to see what that looks like. And then we will need to level it up and continue to level it up. So, Josh, no pressure for the next season.
Love it.
Well, so we just talked a lot about teams and fans. I want to shift the conversation a bit to brands. and talk a little bit about, what new and authentic brand storytelling options open up with mixed reality that aren't there with traditional outlets. How should brands be thinking about leaning into this technology in a way that truly does surprise and delight? I'd like to just open it up. Shachar, you want to start?
Yeah, so there's virtual reality, which is fully immersive, and you're seeing things 360. With mixed reality, you've got pass-through. So you can have a game in front of you, like you're watching it, but again, on the field or on the court, but you're still seeing your kids walk in the background, or you're seeing the football ricochet off your own fridge, for example. So it's a very different experience if it's immersive fully or with mixed reality and pass-through. Brands have an opportunity to engage with people. We believe the future of social connection, just like the last 2 decades have shown us, is going to actually be immersive. So that 2D experience won't go anywhere, but you'll have an opportunity to feel like you're here, even when you're not, and have a fully immersive experience. So certain sports are also better experienced in mixed reality. For example, with F1, it's very hard to see the track. It's very long. The drivers are driving at 200 plus miles per hour. And so having a tabletop experience or having the drivers be able to train in between races and get familiar with each and every turn, because they can't blink, because if they blink, they'll miss a turn or they'll crash. It's an opportunity for us to keep the athletes trained. So a brand like the NFL has Pro Era for fans and also for players to play in their downtime and do it for fun. We also have pickleball, which I know you played yesterday. So brands have an opportunity to really create anything from gaming, fitness, entertainment. We partner with Netflix. We partner with NBC, Peacock. You can watch full-length movies, content, as well as music. iHeart is another big partner of ours.
A little side note, when we were chatting before this panel, you were talking about entertainment and how one of the strong use cases you're seeing at home with Quest is folks doing chores at home, like vacuuming and watching television while they're doing that.
Yeah, so with pass-through, again, your hands are free, so you can be watching anything from in your YouTube browser to a movie, Netflix 3 Body Problem while you're cleaning your kitchen. People are multitasking. It's incredible.
Jen, you talked a little bit about working with brands like Disney and Princess Cruises, with Around and other technology platforms. What type of conversations, when you're in that ideation stage around activation, what type of new conversations and ideas does that open up when you're leaning into AR and VR to really bring that experience to life in the stadium and at home?
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly meeting with partners and prospective partners about the art of what's possible. And I would say that every brand, every category is thinking about AR, VR, mixed reality, storytelling, and creative. So for us, it's at the center of every conversation as we're in discovery and exploration and going through that ideation phase. I would say it's where we can tap into our technology partners and other platforms, and it's up to my team to stay ahead of the curve, to know what's out there, to know what's possible. We have an incredible playbook that the NFL gives us, and then we get to make these moments really matter, and then we also get to fill in the gaps with how we can meet the consumer where they are. And so I would say that when it comes to brands, let's just say the media and entertainment category, right, we're thinking about what their priorities are. We need to make sure that we're delivering not only in the stadium on game day to 70,000 people, but to those at home, because only so many people come to the games, right, in SoFi Stadium or at an away venue. And so we need to meet them where they are. And so we're just always bringing in not only our own creative teams and resources, but tapping into third parties to come up with what could be next. So with Princess, they were a new partner. We knew that we wanted to have a content moment and a creative moment that essentially would kind of drop jaws. And so what we did last season was really incredible, and we need to now build upon that. So it was one of their KPIs. It's one of ours on a game day presentation level of how we need to show up season to season and surprise and delight. And create this full sensory experience, whether it's frictionless, whether it's leaned in, whether it's push-pull, all of it. So it's a part of every conversation. It comes in different flavors.
Excellent. Okay, I want to shift a little bit and talk about adoption. With any new technology, obviously there's an adoption curve that you need to lean into and really educate the end user on why this matters. And I'd like to, Josh and Shachar, start with you and talk about a little bit from an adoption perspective, the type of access when consumers think about leaning into these technologies. How can AR, VR, MR democratize access to live sports? So, for instance, not everyone has the money to sit game side at an event, to get invited to VIP events, so on and so forth with players like we all have here. We're all very lucky. I think access is really important when we think about adoption. And Shachar, maybe I'll start with you because you talked a little bit about the game side NBA partnership that you have. Can you talk about that some more?
Yeah, we do believe that everyone should have access to it. So not only can you experience it in headset, but we also offer a lot of the same experiences 2D using cross-screen technology on Instagram and Facebook. So our goal is to make it accessible, free for everyone, and the 4 billion people that use our products every single day. So we're going to constantly be launching more devices, different price points for different use cases. We also have pro versions for designers, for doctors, for training purposes. And then we have MetaQuest 3, which you can experience here. And you can think of others that will come for different types of use cases. They should be free and they should be accessible. So that's our plan, and also how we want to partner with other partners like the NBA, NFL, to bring sports to everyone. So very few people will experience SoFi. They should, but if they can't, then we want to bring that home to their couch.
Josh, talk a little bit about the work that you've done to make Around more accessible. You used to be an app, now you went web-based. What does that open up for the fans and make it easier to access?
Let me take a half step back. Most of AR is a novelty. So what really makes it a necessity? It's all about connection. How do you connect with people, place, and shared passions in completely new ways? That's really what we think about in terms of shared augmented reality. It allows people to create those connections, make this experience more accessible for them. We look to bring them in through different avenues. I think most of sports is thinking about how do you bring on the younger generation. We look to access them by meeting them at their level. How do you gamify this experience? How do you make it an interactive, immersive path for them to become more educated, more engaged, and more involved within the sport? For the casual fan, we're talking about the helmet off moments. We're dealing with players that have larger than life personalities. So why don't we actually make them larger than life and make them more accessible for those fans so they can have those more personal relationships? And then even for the enthusiast, they want as many stats as possible and can't go deep enough. And so really we look to turn their smartphone into their own broadcast for the live event where they can really feed in what they want and get out of that. And all of that really gets them closer to the game.
Excellent. Well, we're running out of time, so I want to end with one last question for each of you, which is that, if we're here 5 years from now and having a similar panel like this, what are we going to be talking about in this space when we think about interactive sport and the power of technology to level up the fan experience? I need you to look into that crystal ball and give us your best guess.
The future is all about interactive storytelling. It's about bringing the audience into the experience and letting them be a part of that. So, for us, it's really thinking about taking this story, putting it out there, bringing everybody together and seeing what happens. But in the future, that means that's not just in stadium. It's really at home. And how do we create this two-way TV where everybody is feeling a part of it and is able to express themselves, takes ownership, and then share it amongst the world?
If we do our jobs right, we will have 1% of our global fan base at our games in a venue, and we need to get to the other 99% globally. So we are continuing to build our audiences not only in the LA market, but globally. We have been a part of the NFL's international expansion. So whether it's Japan and Korea, or Australia, New Zealand, Mexico, China, we are not just centered and focused around the US and the LA DMA, but we are thinking about our global audiences. So I think it's meeting global consumers and fans where they are and being able to interact with them, to communicate with them, to make sure they're getting football first and entertainment at any moment of the day globally.
We believe the next computing platform won't just live in your pocket, but will actually be something that you wear. It'll be something that allows you to be more interactive, more immersive, and experience things in a very exciting and new way. That's available now.
Amazing. Well, you heard the future here first, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about interactive storytelling. It's not going anywhere. And really what you're going to see is more democratization of access to these sports, to these players, to these experiences globally. So get ready. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.